And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello. And I am so excited to welcome tonight Joe Hart, who's here to give us the inside scoop on his brand new book, I Become Her, out next Tuesday. Joe, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I got I got a copy right here. Basically, I just kind of go over the back blurb a little bit. 10 days into their marriage, Imogen and Lev Carmichael are on their honeymoon cruise in the Mediterranean when Imogen suspects her husband of being unfaithful. Amid the recriminations and denials and rage, Lev falls overboard into the water. It's a miracle he's found alive, and with no memory of what pushed him and Imogen over the edge. Back home, among family and friends, Imogen and Lev are finally starting to readjust. As terrified as Imogen is of Lev's memories returning, it's her suspicions of infidelity that get the best of her. Then, searching for clues, she discovers a woman from Lev's past he never told her about, a woman who has been missing for years. More alarming is that Imogen soon has reason to believe that Lev remembers more than he's letting on. But why would he lie?
Why indeed, Joe? Why
Yeah.
indeed? Well, we're going to find out why and take all of your most pressing questions. But first, I just want to welcome everyone because we are broadcasting to 8 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So, hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, wherever you're watching from, you're in the right place. It is the right time. It is Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. We're going to make it a little less painful and get your week off to a killer start. So if you've been here with me before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my hand-picked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Joe Hart about these characters, about his writing process, about that award that he won, what he's learned from book 1 to book 17, anything that you are wondering. Just get those questions going in the comments, and I'll get them right over to Joe. Let's jump right in. Sharon is joining us from YouTube saying, hi, Joe and Sara. Hi, Sharon. Welcome to the conversation. Randy also joining us from YouTube saying, hi, Sara. Thanks for joining us today, Joe. Hi, Randy. Welcome. Robin is joining us from Facebook saying, hi, Sara and Joe. Hey, Robin. Renee is joining us from Facebook saying, hi, Sara and Joe from Southeast Florida. Welcome, Renee. So good to have you. And Renee is saying, Joe is a new author to me. Nice to meet you, Joe. Okay, nothing makes me happier because, Renee, you've been with me, I think, these whole 5.5 years. You're one of my mavens. And I founded this series with the goal of letting readers meet their favorite authors and introducing them to their next favorite. So here we go. So Joe, meeting someone, a reader, a passionate, voracious reader who is new to you, what would you like to say to someone who's joining you on book 17?
Yeah, I've been doing this a while, but the nice thing about that is I've covered a lot of different genres. I've written in the horror genre, I've written in the mystery genre, thriller, psychological suspense, a lot of those things. So I usually ask people what they like to read because they usually say, like, what do you write? And it's like, what do you like to read? So so it's kind of one of those things. If you kind of veer more towards the horror side or towards the psychological suspense side, then we kind of get a feel. It's a nice conversation starter, and figure out where people's reading interests lie and whatnot. So yeah.
I love that. Margaret, our fellow author, is joining us from the Pacific Northwest, from Portland, Oregon. She says, hey, Randy and Sharon and Sara and yay and everybody. And she's saying, Joe, that's actually just like the stream. There's something for everyone. Exactly. She adds she's currently reading a sociology book about how trust works. I think it might be useful for a crime writer. Interesting. Renee wants to know, Joe, what is your favorite genre to write in, having sampled all of these genres?
I have to kind of go back to my roots a little bit and say probably horror. All of my books have a little bit of that in them. There's always a scene or two that it's kind of horrific or borders on the horrific. So even if it's like more of a domestic suspense or domestic thriller, there will be a couple scenes in there that are really kind of maybe gut churning and edge of your seat and kind of horrifying and stuff from time to time. So I would have to say if it was one genre for the rest of my life, I'd probably have to write horror, just because it's it's kind of wide open. There's lots of possibilities there. You can do a lot with the genre. So yeah.
It's interesting because I love horror, and I actually didn't know before I started this interview series. If someone had said horror, I would have thought wrongly that that meant gory and gross
Mhm.
and extra gratuitously violent. And that's actually not what horror is. It can mean ghosts.
Mhm.
It can mean, very viscerally violent. What does horror mean to you, Joe?
I would say anything that really it goes like one step beyond the unsettling. I write a lot of unsettling
Ooh, I
scenes and
like it.
whatnot, but I would say, yeah, horror goes just slightly beyond that, where it brings you into really kind of uncomfortable territory where it doesn't necessarily, yeah, like you said, have to be gore or things like that, but you're moving into that territory of actual fear and stuff. So I would say that's kind of where it crosses the line into that territory. So yeah.
I love that answer, and I've never heard that before. Let's take it one step further. What have you learned from book 1 to book 17 about how to create something unsettling? Because I'm on book 2, and I'm finding unsettling is actually hard. The two things
Yeah.
I'm finding hardest to write are fear without being cheesy,
Mhm.
or because when you try to be just actually when I have tried to be really scary, it ends up coming off as corny. And funny is also hard. What have you
Yeah.
learned is the secret to unsettling your readers, or one step beyond the unsettling?
Yeah, yeah. I think the key to start off with is great characters that you care about. So if you have characters that are just like you're really rooting for them, or you really care about them, you want to see them succeed, and then you put them in harm's way, or you put them in danger, you put them in a horrifying situation, that really heightens. It feels like it really heightens to me when there's somebody you care about on the page. And yeah, and then I always try to fall back on things that scare me. So I mean, if I have a moment where in my life where I'm suddenly afraid of something or something happens where it's kind of scares me, then sometimes I'll just mentally note it, but sometimes I'll actually go and jot a note down and say, this is like actually good fodder for a scene. And because it unsettled me in real life, it's like, okay, well, maybe I can put a little twist on this and make it fit into a story or a book. So those two things, yeah, the characters, and then drawing a little from real life, and that moment when you actually get that reaction in real life can be put to the page. I think it works really well. Yeah.
Ooh, this is a thought-provoking conversation. I am enjoying
Yeah.
this. Welcome to the conversation, Laure, or if, am I saying this right? Is it Lore? Saying, hi, Joe. I love horror first with suspense second. Who is your favorite author? Ooh, yes. Who is your
All time has got to be Stephen King. He's, what I grew up on. I read him way too young, probably, like a lot of people, but yeah, I would have to go back to King over and over. He's just a fantastic storyteller. He's definitely, like, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the top storytellers, of our generations and stuff. So yeah. Yeah.
What do you think makes him such a great storyteller?
Again, I'd have to go back to his character, and also like the way he builds characters, and then also how he takes his time with the story. I think you don't see that as often a lot of times, and especially novels that are coming out, in the recent, like, last 10 or 15 years. I love that. It's what I fell in love with about writing, is taking your time and really settling in and building a world. And some people get bogged down in that, and they're like, well, it's not moving fast enough. I've seen that criticism to King and stuff. And well, yeah, you can see that, but at the same time, that's some of my favorite parts, is when he is taking his time, and you could just kind of feel yourself sinking into that world that he's created. So I think that's what he does really, really well.
I am so glad you said that, because I love a slow burn, and I love
Mm,
deep story,
yeah,
deep world building in a story. And
yeah.
I think that's something that is getting lost in our very fast paced world that prizes speed overall. And it's like this
Yeah.
cyclone. Oh my God, the bouquets of hearts and likes are going up on Facebook. So clearly this is resonating. Yes. And one of our streaming partners, Bitchy Bookworms, one of the founders, Christina, recently posted that she read Stephen King's 1,200 page book, and she said, this is my Mount Everest. And
Sure.
she loved it and she
Mhm.
posted about it. And I was like, this is really cool to see, someone really just taking their time with storytelling like Stephen
Yeah.
King is, and to see it
Yeah.
resonate with readers like our fabulous founder, Miss
Yeah.
Christina.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mhm.
Sharon is saying, "Yay, Har!" Okay, so we have some Har fans in the house.
Yeah.
Jane, welcome to the conversation. Saying, "So happy you're back, Sarah." Oh, Jane, I'm so glad to be back. I took last week off because I had a board meeting for the Nantucket Book Festival. I'm on the board there, and their annual meeting is on the one Monday night in August, so I had to be there for that meeting. But I'm back. I'm back, baby, and I missed my mavens too. So, Jane, thank you for saying that. Robin wants to know, Joe, are we talking gory, bloody horror or suspense horror? I need to know too.
Sure. Personally, what I write is it can be a mixture of both. I tend to save those really if there's a moment of kind of like a shock value where there is something, there is some blood and guts, that type of thing. I save that and I want to make it worthwhile and meaningful. It's not just for shock value. So you have to, I feel like it's any type of decision that you make when you write. If you have something that's shocking or you're trying to get a payoff, it needs to have earned that moment. So a twist or any of these really, kind of visceral moments, they need to be earned. So I use those, especially now in my career, I use those very sparingly. um, More, I prefer, like you were saying, like a slow burn. Suspense and the horror, like, where that overwhelming sense of dread is so palpable, when it just kind of like overwhelms you and something's coming, but it's just kind of like dangling out there and it keeps drawing you into the book. I love that too. So I try to infuse a little bit of both. If I'm writing horror, obviously if I'm writing more of a thriller or mystery or domestic suspense, then it's going to be much more suspenseful and have those moments that just kind of pull you deeper and deeper into the story. So yeah.
Because I think as a reader, that the fear of something coming is actually scarier than the thing itself. And
Yeah.
actually, just in my own life, if I think I hear footsteps, like I stayed in a place that I think was haunted last week,
Yeah.
but not seeing the ghost, the potential ghost, but feeling and hearing these footsteps put me in
Yeah.
such a state of existential dread.
Yeah.
But as I was simultaneously terrified, I was also thinking, wow, this is really, really effective. Not seeing it is scarier than seeing
It
it.
is. It is. I think that's that old rule is like letting people's imaginations run wild, because if you give them enough fodder for what it is and just kind of, you don't really show it to them, what they can imagine is so much scarier than anything you can describe on the page, I think sometimes. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh, that's interesting. I haven't heard
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Renee, my birthday was very quiet and very lovely. I'm actually postponing celebrating until I'm in a more celebratory mood. So thank you for asking. That's so lovely. Margaret saying, I prefer to vibrate with tension because of unsettling. Thank you very much. I can't do the really gory stuff. That is
Hmm.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to oh my god, okay, we're getting so many good comments, I can barely get to them all. Renee saying, I read mostly thrillers, mysteries, historical fiction, and new fiction. Loving all of those things. Thank you, Renee. Lorraine is saying, oh, Lori, thank you, Lori, for telling me the correct way to pronounce your name. I will remember that. Question. Margaret wants to know, do you ever draw on societal level fears, conflict, alienation, polarization, or the like for your novels? It's in the zeitgeist.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, actually, this novel that's coming out, I Become Her, is very, very much drawing from things that I've noticed over years and years. It's very much about kind of a little bit of a double standard that women deal with versus men in society, and the different barriers and expectations that maybe men don't deal with. And my main character in there is kind of like dealing with those situations from all sides, from relationships, from her family, from her work, from society, these different expectations and whatnot. So yes, absolutely. I feel like anytime that you can kind of pull something that's very much in the atmosphere at the time, or that just resonates with people in general, I think it's going to be that much stronger for your theme and the plot and character and everything. So for sure. Yeah, great question.
Great question, Margaret, and great answer, Joe. And speaking of the zeitgeist, so as I got your book, I also clicked on Netflix and started watching this new series, Amy Bradley is Missing, which is about a true crime case about this woman who goes missing on a cruise ship. And one of the law enforcement officers who is looking for the missing Amy Bradley says, if you ever want to get rid of someone or murder someone, the number one place to do it is on a cruise. And I was like, oh my God. And then I got your book where it's obviously different because in your case, it's the husband who mysteriously goes overboard. Whereas Amy Bradley obviously is a woman. But that really stuck with me because I actually I've never been on a cruise. I don't know anything about cruises. And it actually had not occurred to me that this was a setting that was ripe for a missing person, a crime, a murder. How did you get the idea for this book, for this ship scenario, a ship scene setting?
It fell in with the plot because my two characters were newlyweds, and I was like, well, a great place for a honeymoon is a cruise. And then it just clicked immediately as like, okay, well, then there can be something happens between them that causes him to fall overboard. And it was really scary doing the research for looking at real life cases, where people have fallen overboard on cruises. And so many times they aren't rescued, they aren't found. It is such a scary thing. It's one of my biggest fears, is to like be left in the middle of the ocean and just be like floating out there alone. It is so frightening to me. So it was really kind of scary, like looking at that. And so I mean, even though, like I read on the copy there, like her husband is found alive, he was out there for like 24 hours, in the ocean and stuff like that. So it's just, it's pulling from a little bit of that real life fear and whatnot. But it's a frightening scenario for sure.
So getting stuck out on the ocean is also one of my fears, falling over. And then, this terrifying moment of the ship driving away, sailing away, whatever. And you're like, help, help. But nobody hears you because the engines are so loud and the ocean is so loud and the boat is so big. That is a terrifying feeling. So Joe, did you go on a cruise for research?
I didn't. I have a couple friends who have gone, and I actually ran those scenes by them, and to make sure that it did feel authentic, and I didn't get anything majorly wrong for those scenes that were set on the cruise ship. And it was really good feedback. They were like, no, this is how it feels. You did this right. You did this right. So so I did enough research and, did some, lots of videos and tours of cruise ships. So I get a little, sense of how it feels and stuff. So yes. So didn't actually get to go on the cruises for research, but maybe next time, so
I think you need to do more research, Joe. I think you need to tell your publisher that they, in order to be truly efficient here, you need to go on a cruise. Robin is saying living in the Twilight Zone right now is pretty scary. Robin, preach. I'm also feeling pretty scary.
Yes.
Lori is saying The Shining is still my favorite. The cerebral fear he builds in it is so fascinating. Ooh, I'm intrigued by your use of the term cerebral fear. I love that, Lori. As opposed to more of like, scary clown kind of less cerebral, more physical based fear. So that's what a great point. Robin saying, I still remember the mom returning from the pet cemetery with her gravelly voice. Oh my gosh, I've never seen that. I now will. Julie, welcome to the conversation. Wants to know, were we supposed to like Imogen? I'm just calling her Imogen, but it's Imogen.
Imogen, yeah. That's a great question. And I got asked that the other day from another interviewer. They were like, I'm not sure if I liked her. And that's fine. I mean, and I didn't necessarily write her to be really, really likable or sympathetic. I wrote her just as who she was, and what she was going through. So I think if you can understand what she was going through, and see what her motivations were, I don't think you necessarily have to like her or agree with some of the choices she made, like any character in any book. That's totally up to you, but you definitely don't have to like her. So,
Renee would like to know, Joe, what state do you live in?
I live in Minnesota.
Excellent. Okay, so not an ocean adjacent
No, not an
state, a
ocean adjacent. No.
landlocked state,
Yeah,
not a
as much as
sea.
I would like it to be a ocean adjacent state, it is not. So
Hey, at least you've got Amy Klobuchar. She's cool.
yes.
Okay, so Robin says, what about the cruise ship technology that alarms when someone falls overboard? Okay, I didn't know that there was such a thing.
There is, and that's part of the thing when I did the research, that from what I understood is it's good, but it's not foolproof.
Wait, how would,
Mhm.
yeah, because how would they actually do that? I guess they would have sensors on the side of the boat that's like, hey, a large human shaped object is plummeting past
Yes,
us.
right, right. But yeah, from what I understood, from what I read, is it's mostly it's up to other passengers or family friends to point out. And I watched several kind of very scary videos on YouTube where people had fallen over, and their family and friends are keeping their the whole point of, like, somebody gets lost at sea. If you can see them, you have to keep your eye on them, because it's so easy to lose them in the distance and in all the vastness of the water. So yeah, it's I think they've come a long way, and I think there's lots of safety precautions and whatnot. But that's where I wrote the plot just a little around when Lev fell overboard. He was completely at Imogen's mercy to call in, that basically that my husband has fallen overboard. So yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah, we're having an interesting conversation in the comments about these sensors. So this is
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. You guys, I'm going to pause here to say that to remind everybody that the book is not even out yet. So it drops in 8 days, next Tuesday, August 26th. And Joe is coming on tonight from Minnesota, from landlocked Minnesota, to give us the inside scoop and take all of your burning questions. So you can pre-order now from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. And you can get your mitts on I Become Her by Joe Hart. And the good folks at Murder by the Book will send you that book the day that she drops, which is next Tuesday, August 26th. So whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, here is that link to click and get your mitts on I Become Her, so that you can find out what happens to this very unfortunate couple 10 days into their honeymoon at sea, and let us know what you think of Imogen. Let us know what you think of these characters. Lori is saying, Joe, one of the most horrific things I read in horror are supernatural monsters with lots of teeth. Any plans for your next horror novel? Ooh, yeah, that's so terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, the evolution that I've gone through as far as personally, like, what I find frightening or scary. When I first started writing horror, it very much was, yes, the supernatural monsters
Yeah.
with lots of teeth. Um, I've kind of gotten to a point now. I've written a lot of books like that. I've had, ghosts and monsters and, different dimensions and different things like that. Some sci-fi, all that stuff. I do have plans for a horror novel. It's probably going to be the next novel that I write. And it's going to be kind of, from how I feel, it's going to be kind of my magnum opus of horror, which I've found a few key elements. I can't go into super detail, but I found a few key elements that fit really well together that create kind of this really interesting canvas to play with and paint this really big picture with lots of characters and lots of really, really scary stuff, lots of psychological horror, some visceral, maybe even monsters, you never know. But yeah, that's on the docket coming up. So hopefully that's the next one I get to write. Yeah. So
Yay.
mhm.
I want to jump into some of the praise that this book has earned. So Publishers Weekly says Hart gleefully explores his characters' dark sides while keeping questions about their capacities for violence wide open until the book's explosive finale. With simmering suspense, a slick sleight of hand, and a pitch black view of modern relationships, this book offers an acidic summertime thrill. What a fabulously written and fun review. So when I read that gleefully, I just pictured Joe at his desk, like gleefully writing that book.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
what is your process, Joe? Does it feel joyful? Does it feel gleeful? Or are you, over there like Hemingway, just miserable, day drinking, clawing your way through the desert of depression, and
Yeah.
every word is just suffering to get it out?
Right. I try to, I mean, I think everybody experiences that writes novels. They do have those days, right? But I feel like if I'm writing the right story and if I understand it well enough, then it should be fun. It should be fun and mostly fun. You should be satisfied with kind of what you're doing.
Mm.
Like I think Ray Bradbury said, if you're not having fun, what the hell are you doing this for? That's like it shouldn't really feel like really 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 hard work. I will say that it does at certain days, it does feel very hard and it's tough work, but even those days I think are gratifying because some of those days you write really good stuff, and you feel like you're maybe not doing wonderful work, but you're still putting in the time and you're kind of in the trenches, and if you keep at it, that's the whole thing, is just that discipline to sit down and do it every day. So I always try to find some joy in it. Every day that I sit down, I try to write at least one true sentence every day that feels true, and have a good time with it. And then, as long as that's happening for me, then I'm good to go. But yeah, there's those days. There's those days where you feel like, what am I? I don't even. It's one of those professions. It's the strangest thing. Like, it's almost like if you can take a few days off, you come back to it and you don't remember how to do it.
Oh my
And
God, right? I
you know,
literally like, have I ever sat at a keyboard before? Have I
right?
ever typed it? What was my book about? I'm like, am I brand new here? Like, did I
Yeah.
get sucked into a time space continuum where my
Yep.
memory has been erased by an alien? Like, I have these
Yes.
thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird. Like I say to my wife all the time,
Weird.
I'm like, I don't know how anybody, like somebody that goes to their job every day, they don't forget how to do it. Like, what
I
is wrong
really
with me?
don't.
So yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sharon wants to know, Joe, after writing such a large number of books, how do you I love this. How do you refresh your creativity for the next one? Great
Mm,
question.
it's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really make sure, especially in the last probably like 6, 8 years of my career, I make sure that the next book that I start on, I'm fully in love with. I take my time with it. And it's not even so much plotting. It's just really dreaming in that world, whatever it's going to be, sitting and really kind of getting into the characters' heads and really thinking about it. And if I don't really feel that, if I don't feel like I'm falling in love with the characters and with the plot and all the fun things that you can do for scenes and things like that, then usually I'll just, it's pressure testing. And then if it doesn't kind of meet the demands, then it gets set aside. So if I need to be excited about the idea to really tackle the next book, so to speak. So it's that creativity has to kind of build exponentially while I'm thinking about the idea. So that's kind of how it recharges everything. And yeah, as long as I fall in love with the idea and I'm invested, then we're good to go. Then I'm good to go for the next 6 or 8 months, whatever it takes to write. Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Thank you for the great question, Sharon.
Mhm. Mhm.
You guys, I want to remind you, we're wrapping up here. We have time for one more question, but the book drops next Tuesday, and here is the link to pre-order, again, from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book, whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube. Here is that link. Oh my God, there's so many good questions here. Okay. Renee wants to know, how will you celebrate your publication day next Tuesday?
Oh. I'm probably just going to be at home. We'll probably, maybe my family and I will go on a bike ride or something, and maybe go out and grab some dinner, and that's, yeah, just keep it low key. So yeah.
Yay.
Hmm.
Lori says, ordering now. Yay,
Oh,
Lori.
great. Thank you.
Can't
Thank you.
wait to hear what you think about it.
Hmm.
Please do report back in Mystery and Thriller Mavens, where all of the good tea is spilled. So we look forward to and I'm going to drop that link in the comments. I look forward to your report, Lori. Robin saying, congratulations on your newest book, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Renee saying, I'm going to read this book and then I'm probably going to check out Joe's previous books. I can't believe I never heard of Joe unless I forgot. Okay, I'm going to go head to the beach now and have bonbons and fan myself with palm fronds because my goal has been accomplished. I've introduced Renee to a new author. I'm so excited. Yay. Thank you for that comment, Renee. Yes. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I'm just making sure. Happy early pub day. No. Oh yes. Okay. You're right. Someone, Robin, you're saying, what do I have Mystery and Thriller Maven bookmarks? I have book plates for the authors who don't tour to Murder by the Book. If they don't have a physical book tour, you can email me or DM me your receipt from Murder by the Book, and I will send you a very special Mystery and Thriller Maven book plate that Joe will sign. So you are not insane. You are quite right. Margaret saying author amnesia is like sci-fi, but it's not. Or maybe it is, Margaret. We don't know because the aliens would erase that memory.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the question. Yes, I do have thank you for all the hearts. We do have book. I did make book plates. Thank you for remembering my very fabulous book plates. I love them. They're so cute with the lady with the hat. Yes, exactly. Sounds like Joe is a Gretchen Rubin rebel. I like it. Yes, a refresh your Robin is praising Sharon's phrase of great way to refresh your creativity. I know. I want to go refresh my creativity. I must refresh now.
Yeah.
Renee is saying, thank you, Sara and Joe, for a fascinating discussion. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us. Lori saying, I'm right there with Renee. Happy to meet Joe as a new author for you too. Oh my gosh. Okay. It just keeps getting better and better. Thank you, you guys. I love my Mavens. I love my Mavens. All right, we are out of time. Time flies when you are having this match fun. So here again is the link to pre-order Joe's book. And then you can report back to let us know what you think of I Become Her. You guys, that is a wrap for me. Thank you to everyone who spent your Monday with me. If you're not already a member of Mystery and Thriller Mavens, my God, what are you waiting for? It's free and open to all. And it is so fun. So hop on over and join us at Mystery and Thriller Mavens on Facebook, where all the good tea is spilled. I will be off for the next 2 weeks for Labor Day, and I will be refreshing my creativity in the words of Sharon. Thank you for all the hearts up, you guys. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you for everyone who commented, and thank you for all of my quiet watchers. I see you guys. Elizabeth, Jean, oh my gosh, Renee and Robin, thank you. Sarah with an H, Susan, Joe. Oh, we have another Joe T. We've got lots of Joes in the house. Catherine Yatunde, good to have you here. Jane B, Margaret E, Josephine, Robin with a Y, Robin with an I. Oh my goodness, everybody. Okay, I see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your Monday with me. I'm so honored. And I will see you guys in September 9th. I've got a fabulous lineup of fall authors for you. So enjoy the last weeks of summer. I don't want it to end, and I will be back with you in summer. That's a wrap for us. Happy reading, mid the days, and the pages fly by. Joe, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. That's great. Really fun. Yeah.